As we resume our driver education program, we're up to class number 3 now. Class 3 will teach students the method of how to make a 3-point U-turn, which is a required maneuver on the road test here in New York State. And we'll also finally start to take it out onto the road, dealing with some main roads and some light traffic. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to come around this curve here. We're going to be careful to keep to the right. Always leave room for an oncoming car anytime you drive. Okay, like here we got a car coming towards us. We're going to keep it to the right a little more to leave room for that car to come towards us. As we approach the corner up ahead, we see a stop sign hidden under the tree, so we know it's there. By looking well ahead, we see it in time, and we're not waiting till the last possible second. We're making our full stop. We're going to move up. We're going to make a right turn. Make sure as we turn, there's 2 lanes. We're going to go in the right-hand lane. Anytime you make a right turn, you always go in the right lane. Anytime you make a left turn, you always go in the left lane. When is the only time it's okay to turn right and go in the left lane, or turn left and go in the right lane? That's right. Whenever there are 2 turn lanes. So if you're in the right lane that's turning right, you go in the right lane. If you're in the left lane that's designated for a right turn, then you can go into the left lane. As we approach the traffic light here, we always wait until we can see the dotted lines. We move into the turn lane, designated by the arrows painted on the road, and we have a no turn on red. No turn on red means you are not permitted to turn right on red. Now, in New York, you are allowed to make a right on red unless it says otherwise. In Nassau County, Suffolk County, and anything upstate, but the 5 boroughs of the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island, you are not permitted to make a right turn on a red light. One thing we'd like to point out is for everybody to understand a proper method in driving. We call it the Smith system. And with the Smith system, there are 5 steps. The first step to the Smith system is to learn to look well ahead. Looking well ahead means not just focusing on the road in front of you or the car in front of you, but what's happening up ahead as far up as you can see. We call it also aim high in steering. When you aim high in steering, your eyes are up, not down. The second part of the Smith system is to get the big picture. Always pay attention to everything that's out there on the road. The big picture to a driver, as we can see right now, are lines on the road, cars on the road, trucks, buses, traffic lights, pedestrians. Everything you can think of is all part of this big picture as a driver. The third part is to keep your eyes moving. Scan the road. Make sure you're looking side to side, left to right, up, down. See everything. See the signs ahead of time. This way it tells you what the sign means and you'll know what to do before it's too late. The next part is to learn to always leave yourself an out. By leaving yourself an out, it's all about space cushion driving. Space cushion driving is to keep space between you and the other drivers. While it is not always the easiest to keep space between you and the driver that's in front of you, you have to make sure that as we come up over here and he's deciding to go to Taco Bell, now he decides to go to the bank. And we come up here and we're going to make a right turn at the light. But keeping that safe space cushion of at least one full car length of following distance between ourselves and the driver that's in front of us. Many people say you need to make sure that there's nobody to the right of you and nobody to the left of you and nobody behind you. But it is absolutely impossible to make sure that there's not anybody around you. The only one that you actually have the control over is the space that is in front of you. When driving on these light traffic main roads, always watch for speed limit signs. It's all part of the scanning process. Make sure you stay within the speed limits. You never want to exceed the speed limits. If you exceed the speed limits, yes, you can get a ticket. So we try not to exceed the speed limits when we drive, especially on a road test. The next part and final part of the Smith system is to make sure others see you. Now, notice how we're using the following distance of being able to see the road between ourselves and the vehicle in front of us. That's a safe distance when you come to a stop. This way, if somebody were to hit you from behind, you wouldn't be forced into the vehicle ahead of you. And when making sure that others see you, it's all about communication, signaling, either with your turn signals or your hand gestures, using your horn, any kind of verbal communication, eye contact, using your headlights, flashing your brights. There's so many different types of communications that drivers use. Always keep an eye on the road. As we look ahead, we see a sign that's telling us that the right lane is ending. We're in the left lane, so we have the right of way. We can also tell the lane is ending because of the dotted lines that are on the road. Always learning to keep an eye on the lines that are on the road. Yellow lines always separate the traffic moving in opposite directions, and white lines, like lane markers, separate the traffic moving in the same direction. Again, keeping a safe following distance of at least one car length for every 10 miles per hour of speed. Another method of following distance is what we call the 3-second rule. The 3-second rule works where you focus your eyes on a stationary object up the road, watch the vehicle in front of you go past it, and then count 1001, 1002, 1003, and then you should pass that same fixed point. If you pass it before you finish the count, you do not have a safe following distance of at least 3 seconds. Remember what we talked about in the second class about watching for any movement and what could possibly come from that movement. Eyes ahead, always paying attention. We see somebody standing there on the side. Police car coming towards us. Mowing the lawn on the left. Make a left turn at the light. Over the line. Make the turn. Don't forget, hand over hand. Let the wheel spin coming back. Approaching the traffic light, there's no sign for no turn on red. We make a full stop behind the white line. We begin to inch up, but we're already scanning the road, and before making the turn, we know that UPS truck is there. Always look where you want your car to go. And when you do that ahead of time, you're more prepared for what could come. Knowing that UPS truck was there after making the turn, was he blocking the entire lane? Was he only blocking part of the lane? Do I need to move to the left to go around him? But either way you slice it, I was prepared for it. I knew it was there, and I made the proper move. Got a trailer in front of us. Anytime there's a trailer, somebody carrying something, always keep a greater distance. Anytime you see ladders on top of a truck, keep a greater distance. You don't want those ladders landing through the windshield of your car. You'd rather them land on the ground and then work your way around it. Because quite frankly, you were not at that last job where they put those ladders on the truck. You don't know if they're tied down correctly, and it doesn't take much to jar them loose. A trailer gate could easily open, and then we'd have two pieces of fence that we'd have to work our way around. When it comes to driving, expect the unexpected. Always be aware of what's going on. Be prepared for anything that could happen. And again, learn to have a good time when you're driving. Driving could be a lot of fun. We'll be preparing to make a left turn into the neighborhood on the left up here. Always let your shoulders reach the corner before starting your turn. The 3-point turn, as I said before, is a required maneuver on the New York State road test. You can lose up to 15 points for failure to make a proper 3-point turn. But that shouldn't happen as long as you're able to practice your maneuver. It's just like a parallel park, which we'll learn in a later class. Parallel parking is also a required maneuver on the road test. Many people seem to think that parallel parking is the be-all, end-all of road tests, but it is not. You can still pass your road test if you can't parallel park. However, you can't pass a road test if you can't drive in traffic. For a 3-point turn to be done properly, you put on your right turn signal and pull the car over to the right side of the road, making sure you do not block a driveway on the right and there's no driveway on the left that you would turn into. Since you'll be turning across the street, you want to make sure you're not going up somebody's driveway. Once you've pulled over to the right side of the road, you turn your signal off and put on your left turn signal. Now we're going to use that smog technique that we discussed. We have our left signal on, we check our rear view mirror, our left side view mirror, and then over the shoulder, and we turn the wheel all the way to the left going towards the opposite curb. Put it to the point where your side view mirror is right at the top of the curb. When your side view mirror is right at the top of the curb, that keeps you from going too far forward. So you don't forget, put the car in reverse, look to your left, look to your right. Always be careful of people that decide to go around you. Back the car up towards the middle of the street, put the car in drive, and go. Just like that. Again, you put on your right turn signal, pulling the car over to the right side of the road, making sure that there are no driveways on either the right or left. Then use that smog technique, put your left signal on, check your rear view and side view mirror, then look over your left shoulder, turning the wheel all the way towards the opposite curb. And when your side view mirror lines up with the top of the curb, that's as far as you want to go. Then put the car in reverse, look to your left, Look over your right shoulder backing, turning the wheel all the way. You back up until your side view mirror is now lined up with the middle of the street. Put the car into drive, turn the wheels to the left, and go in the opposite direction. That is a 3-point turn. You can lose points if you don't signal. You can lose points if you go too far forward. You can lose points if you go too far backwards. Always with the full stops. Remember the different types of intersections, that being an all-way stop. I'm going to pull over to the right. I'm going to put the car with the left signal on. I'm going to turn the wheel, going towards the opposite curb. And again, remember to line up the rear view mirror with the top of the curb. That keeps you from going too far forward. Don't forget to shift because you don't want to end up in the wrong gear. Stopping in the center. Putting the car in drive. And again. Always with the full stop. Inch up, make sure it's safe, and we proceed. We'll be making a right turn at this stop sign. And pulling over to the right. As we continue, we approach, what was that? A T-corner, that's right. Only this time, we have the right of way because the cross street has stop signs. So we automatically have the right of way when you're approaching a T-corner and you don't have the stop sign. Approaching an all-way stop. We remember what to do at all-way stops. Everybody should stop. The first car to stop has the right of way. The car to the right has the right of way. Approaching a traffic light in a moment where we'll be making a left-hand turn. And again, a left-hand turn at a traffic light. You have to make sure that you turn into the left-hand lane. Approaching the intersection, we go part way, make sure it's safe before we finish our turn. And there's always going to be somebody who's impatient behind you. There was no place I could have gone, yet I still got honked at. This is Merrick Road, going through Massapequa and Seaford. Look at this sign on the right. It's telling us that the traffic light is photo enforced. Yes, there are many intersections on Long Island that have the cameras at the lights, and you are always warned that the intersection has a camera. Sometimes it's a good idea as you're driving, when you see it, or even as you're a passenger, when you see it, to call it out. Say photo enforced. Or hey mom, hey dad, watch out, that next light is photo enforced. How do you know that, dear? You see that sign right there? That sign's telling us that it's photo enforced. You see the traffic light on the sign with the two words underneath it saying photo enforced. Photo enforced lights on Long Island, $150 fine. So it's a good idea to always be aware. Everybody's got a honk. Well, we did talk about honking being one means of communication between drivers. Don't be obnoxious. If you have to honk at somebody, use it for communicational skills, not for aggressiveness. Again, always making full complete stops at all stop signs. pedestrian cross the street. And then, since they wouldn't let her in, we'll go around them. Following the arrows, noticing the sign on the left saying dead end, the other one's telling us which direction the road is going. Now I want to go straight across this light, and as I look ahead, I see a sign on the right that says left lane, must turn left. That tells me I need to be in the right lane in order to go straight. As I look ahead from this point, I see signs. The first sign in the center, the white and black sign showing the divider and the arrow, it's telling me that there is a divider and I need to keep to the right of the divider. I also see some warning signs. One that's telling me that the speed is 20 miles per hour as the road curves, and then the arrows that are pointed sharply to the left. So before I even get there, I'm prepared for the fact that the speed has dropped from 30 to 20 and that the road is going to curve sharply to the left. So I'm not going to take off going across this light, because then I'll be applying the brake to slow down to that warning speed. Keeping in mind that anytime you see a yellow sign, yellow with a speed limit on it does not necessarily mean you must do this speed. It is a suggested speed, a warning speed, a recommended speed. Basically, what it boils down to is if the speed limit is 40 and you see a sign like that telling you that the speed limit is dropping to 20 and you tried to take it at 40, you'd find out why that sign was there, because it's just not possible. So as we watch our speed coming around the sharp curve, we're going to make this first available right at this corner here. Again, always letting the front of the car reach the corner, hand over hand, letting the wheels slide, coming back through. Looks like we got some more trees. Once again, Isaias came through here, knocked down a lot of trees. Took down a bunch of trees in my yard. My chainsaw blade was broken. Took care of all the trees. 2 days later, chainsaw blade came in the mail. Good timing, huh? Train station on the right. And we'll be making a 3-point turn over here. Again, pulling over carefully to the right, making sure there's no driveway on the right or left. Then the left signal. Turning the wheel all the way to the left. And as you do a 3-point turn, try not to hesitate between the steps. And again, you can lose points on a road test if you don't do it properly. Before, we had the car that went around us. We stopped and we let him go. Shouldn't lose any points for something like that. But as you learn to drive, if someone's in the middle of doing a 3-point turn, just let them do the 3-point turn. Don't cut around somebody. Approaching the main road where we have the stop sign and the cross street does not. Always stopping before the sidewalk to keep it clear. Making sure that both directions are clear. Remember, you want to be able to see around things. Not over, under, or through them, but around them. Looking ahead, we see an orange cone on the right. Some sort of construction, maybe a road patch. And by now you should be able to do a 3-point turn without any help. There's also something to point out when it comes to the 3-point turn and the parallel park, and that is the backup camera. Many cars have backup cameras. So as you see, we put the car into reverse and we see what's behind us. Could even tell that the wheel is being turned in the direction we want to go. While backup cameras are considered a resource, some examiners on road tests do not like when you use the backup camera. There have been examiners on New York State road tests that actually take a post-it note and put it over the backup camera. Sometimes they hold their clipboard there. Most of them, however, will allow the use of a backup camera, providing you don't just stare in the camera to guide yourself. You look over your shoulder, you check your mirrors, you take a glance in the camera, you look over your shoulder, you check your mirrors, you take a glance in the camera. That would be allowed on a road test, but just staring in the camera would not be allowed, and that could cost you a considerable amount of points because it doesn't show any other observation besides looking in the camera. Another one of those neighborhoods where there are 4 stop signs without the all-way sign. Learn to scan. Look ahead. Be aware. Look side to side. And this concludes class number 3 with the 3-point turn and the introduction to main road traffic. Next class, we'll be working on lane changes.